me find like the craziest. I don't know, like, you know, I was hanging out with like anarchists in like Detroit, you know, for a while, and yeah, so like, but then I don't know, but then sometimes it's catch-22. You also learn a lot as well from seeing people from all over, you know. So that's the intention, just to be able to like go and meet people from all different walks of life, and to try to make something that's, you know, interesting and tells a little story about, yeah,
Humanity.
yeah,
I
exactly.
like Detroit. It
Yeah.
has a great museum.
Yeah, Detroit's awesome. Yeah, met some
Yeah.
really lovely people there, and yeah, and everybody we meet is everybody from every background has just been incredibly welcoming, and
So what
you
was
know.
the title of that piece?
so this is still ongoing, and so the working title is just like the Rust Belt. That's the
Okay.
region, but it won't be called that. I have to come up with something. So hopefully this trip, yeah, I'll come up with something to.
So what?
Yeah.
So you had a working title. What about a sort of a theme, an underlying theme? What would you say the theme of that is?
Wow. Okay, so my intention for doing the project was that there's this one quote that stood out for me. That was this writer, George Packer. I'm not sure if you know him, but he said that I read that after the election of Trump the first time, there was this like moment in journalism where people were saying, well, we don't understand like our own people. We don't understand huge areas of our own country. You know, we have these sort of, you know, media groups that are like based on the East Coast, and it's like almost like they needed to send. I think the quote was they needed to send. You know, foreign correspondents to their own country to open up foreign bureaus. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I thought that's just insane, you know. And I, for me, as someone that works in journalism, I was like, how does this happen? How does this come to be? That there's so much sort of like, lack of understanding, I guess, and not seeing the way people are actually feeling about the situation, and how that transpires into to voting. So that's sort of my interest. And then in terms of like what I hope to achieve, it's just probably that's something you could ask me at the very end. But it's just trying to tie in all these ideas together, and get to the heart of what's sort of going on. And maybe as an outsider from Australia, like we're able to see things that I think Americans can't see. You know, because you're too close. You know, and there is a lot of division, a lot of. You know, like people very seem somewhat divided, you know, politically here. So, yeah, so that I guess that's what I'm trying to do, and in my small way, if I can, you know, make something that's interesting, that will be, yeah, that'll be a success.
So being an Australian is disarming.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I talked to the one thing I find amazing about Rod, it'd be interesting to have your thoughts on this about Americans is that. They're just so open to telling their story. Like, I very rarely on my last trip did have anybody say, "Oh, like I don't want to talk to you," or "I'm not interested." In Australia, that's very much the case. Like people keep themselves; they're kind of private. They don't like to put themselves forward. But Americans, I find, that just have this just this like belief in their own personal story that they feel is important, and they want to like get it out into the world. And I find it very admirable, to be honest, and yeah, so I love working here. It's a very fascinating place, and it's also very fruitful because people are so willing to share their story. Yeah.
That's why I'm here.